Welcome to Illuminating the Light Feminine, the 7 Greek Goddess Archetypes. My name is Brianna Cox, otherwise known as the Aligned Empress Coach. So today I'm going to talk about the light attributes of the 7 Greek Goddess Archetypes. Last time we went over the dark archetypes. For this video, we're going to do the same except with the light archetypes. Let's get into it. So I want to start with one of my favorites, Aphrodite. Now, Aphrodite being the goddess of love, beauty, seduction, and yes, even war. She is brilliant when it comes to love and beauty and desire, things of that nature. Her wounds can be centered around seeking validation, wanting love from everyone around her, feeling as though something is wrong when she doesn't feel loved. Maybe it affects her self-esteem. She might not feel beautiful or wanted or desired. So when these wounds are healed and this is integrated within her, she becomes the embodiment of self-love. She becomes the embodiment of authentic magnetism. She becomes the embodiment of inner validation. And she is one of the most, if not the most, magnetic out of all of the divine feminine archetypes. Let me give you a great example. So Ariel from The Little Mermaid would be a perfect example of the light Aphrodite. She is very dreamy when it comes to love. She's fantasizing about meeting a prince, being rescued out of her water world because she's always dreaming of being on land. Then she meets Eric, and she is willing to go through extreme measures to earn his love, to earn his affection. Even to the point of giving up her authentic voice. Like, that's key, right? And in that process, she actually starts to lose him because, and this is interesting that I used Ursula as the shadow version of Aphrodite in the last video, because Ursula, kind of representing the shadow siren, she steps in, she uses that same voice that she made Ariel give up as part of the deal. And she creates herself into this beautiful woman with the same voice that he heard when he was rescued by Ariel and made him fall instantly in love with her. So now he's under her spell. And the only way that all of this can be fixed is by Ariel embracing who she truly is, fearlessly, and setting things right. So I love this explanation for the divine feminine light archetype of Aphrodite. Because when we really begin to love ourselves, to take ownership of our own validation, our own magnetism, when we no longer seek external stimuli or external validation, and we realize that within us the whole time is the key to manifesting our dreams and our reality, that we radiate beauty and love from within, that is the gift of the light aspect of Aphrodite. And I just want to mention that it's important to know we all have all 7 archetypes within us, but it's important to know which are dominant, which is why I do want to briefly mention my Triple Goddess quiz and Unlocking the Triple Goddess Code ebook, because you can find out what your moon, your sun, and your rising goddess is, and that will show you why maybe you haven't had success in magnetizing, the love, the career, the business, the money, the home, purpose, soul alignment, things of that nature. This also, of course, ties into my masterclass. When you integrate the light and dark aspects of every goddess archetype, you step in to the perfect radiant goddess that you're always meant to be. So I just want to mention that real quick before moving on to the next goddess, which we have is Artemis. So Artemis is all about, she's a goddess of the hunt. She is wild. She has a connection with animals, with the woods. She has the warrior archetype. She's very independent and fierce and focused. So her light aspect is that laser focus, is that independence. She does what needs to be done. She doesn't mind being alone. She takes care of the animals, right? So the wounds of this would be hyper independence. And we've also talked about that being a wound of the shadow aspect of Artemis as well. Not allowing herself to rest. And this is one that we haven't talked about yet. Hustle. So when this translates into the modern world, it's like the hustle mentality, the boss bitch, right? It's that go, 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 go. So somebody with Artemis prominent as an archetype may deal with that as a wound, right? Feeling like she doesn't have purpose if she is not hustling, if she's not working hard, if she's not focused, if she doesn't have some sort of a mission or a purpose. So when these are integrated, then she uses that, but without it being to her own detriment, where she's not hyper independent, where she isn't extremely isolated, where she isn't feeling as though she's doing everything on her own or having to hustle or work hard instead of smart and focused. And by the way, I forgot to mention I have these embodiment titles for all of the light aspects of the goddesses. And so I wanted to go back and say that for Aphrodite, I would call her the radiant enchantress. For Artemis, I would call her the courageous huntress. And I want to bring up Medina again. Medina is unique because out of all of the Disney characters that I've used for the light and dark goddess archetypes, she is the only one that I've used to represent both the shadow and light archetype, which I love this for her because her character is so complex that she does represent the light and shadow attributes, like both the gifts and the challenges or wounds. She is fiercely independent. She is loyal toward her family. She is all about nature, being a bit of a tomboy, focused on her dreams, her goals, not being swept up in society, not worrying about what other people think. And once she learns the lesson of understanding that these hyper independent actions have consequences, she actually becomes, it just amplifies her courage even more. It amplifies her authenticity, her bravery even more. Her strengths show through instead of being like this shadow wound that's kind of bleeding out on everybody else. Now moving on to Demeter, the nurturing mother. Demeter is the goddess of fertility, of life. She is often seen pregnant with Persephone, by the way. She represents the ultimate mother. And in this case, in her light aspect, she is nurturing, she is caring, she is giving. But maybe the wound is that she forgets to give to herself, right? She forgets that she too needs love and to be nurtured. And so in learning to nurture herself and learning to pour into herself and being mindful with making sure she's not overgiving and draining her energy, she becomes a better mother. She becomes a more nurturing mother. She becomes a healthier mother, a better mother. She is able to create. So it's not just being a mother of children. It's being a mother to any project she has, any creative endeavor, any recreation. Her business, for example, if she's a business owner, or her job, her home, right? For her, I chose Mrs. Potts from Beauty and the Beast to represent, because Mrs. Potts is this amazing, bubbly, wise, nurturing character toward Chip. And she just, to me, represents an amazing mother. And so I love how she always has the wisest things to say. She's gentle, she's giving, she's nurturing, she's protective. She's there and present. So let's go into Athena. Athena is the wise one, the wise strategist. She is the goddess of wisdom. She is the goddess of logic. She is the goddess of knowledge. She's often seen with the owl, which also represents wisdom or knowledge, and is also a feminine symbol. And she's often seen with books. Now, her wounded energy would be neglecting emotion, intuition, and relation with other people over knowledge, over wisdom, over logic. She considers wisdom to be the most important thing. So in the extreme, it can deprive her of satisfying relationships, of having intuitive, emotional connections with herself and with others. So she can sometimes almost feel like an outsider for that reason. And when these aspects are integrated, she is wise, she is brilliant, she's logical, she is methodical, but she's also intuitive and present for the people that she cares about. Let me give you an example. Belle from Beauty and the Beast. I think it's cool that I used two characters from Beauty and the Beast. But Belle is described as always having her nose in the book, not really caring about what people think of her. She doesn't really care about anything but her father, their farm, and her books. What makes her also so amazing is that in developing that sense of like love and softness and forgiveness, she is actually able to become a princess because she softens her heart, because she starts to use her compassion, her intuition, not just her logic, her wisdom, not just kind of being focused on her own little world. It starts with her trading places with her father, and then she starts to get to know the beast. And because she decided to open up her heart, then she ends up falling in love and marrying a prince. So there you go. So let's move on to Hestia. Hestia, the hearth mystic, the goddess of the hearth and home, of sacred magic, of things that are unseen, the protected realms of the home, the hedges, right? The fire. Now, her wounds can be centered around, as we've talked about the shadow archetypes as well, her being very fixated on keeping things contained in her home. But beyond that, she can also kind of get stuck in routine. She can get stuck in being small and remaining hidden. It's almost like the reverse high priestess archetype, where she can become reclusive. So it doesn't always have to be about being vindictive or an extreme guardian. It can also be she can get routine and she can miss out through her extreme isolation, or she can become passive, right? And so for her, it's all about, the gifts of her is extreme mystical knowledge and wisdom, her power over the hearth and home, her being the guardian of that space and the hidden spaces, like the wisdom keeper of her family, not in the way that Athena is, but in more of a mystical, quiet sense of the word. Now for her, I thought of Grandmother Willow from Pocahontas. Very wise, being a tree, she's very rooted. That being the light aspect of the hearth mystic, she is like the high priestess, the oracle. So when we radiate from her energy, we are embodying the mystical side of the divine feminine. Let's move on to Hera. Hera, the sovereign queen. She is the goddess of boundaries, of queendoms, of marriage, of empires. And the wounds can have a lot to do with jealousy, insecurity, control, competition, right? Vindictiveness. So when she integrates that, then she becomes this powerhouse. She becomes this empress. She is the empress archetype. Now for her light aspects, the gifts that she brings, is that she is sovereign. She understands the difference between control and self-control, between fear or not having a strong sense of boundaries and having a very solid sense of personal boundaries. And this makes her very successful, very loyal. That's another trait that she has. And it makes her very sovereign. She has this regal, elegant energy. Now, Elsa from Frozen is a great example. So Elsa from Frozen, sort of fearful, hidden, because she was afraid of her own power. She was afraid of who she really was. She was having a hard time establishing where she, her identity as a queen started, her identity as a queen ended. And when she was trying to take her power back, she almost did it in an extreme kind of way and lost control. So it was only with the balance of who she truly was, honoring her boundaries, honoring her love for herself and others, honoring her personal sovereignty, not giving away her power, but also not exerting it over others, and in loving her sister and remembering the authentic relationship that they had. That was when she was able to step into the full sovereignty. And she was a powerful sorceress and a powerful queen. But because she was scared of her own power, she was running from herself. This is what was causing all of these problems. So that's what happens when we embody the light aspect of Hera. All of those gifts having to do with power and sovereignty, regal nature, self-control, leadership, things of that nature, and loyalty, this is what we gain from that. Now let's go on to our last goddess, Persephone, the Rebirth Maiden. Persephone is the goddess of cycles of death and rebirth, of transformation, of alchemy. Her light side definitely represents the rebirth after the death. The new beginning. The wound surrounding this can be the wound of the maiden, where she feels like a victim. She's scared of change. She's afraid of what's next, even afraid of new good things because it's new. But once this is integrated and she really begins to shine in her light aspect, she's extremely powerful. She can alchemize anything. And she's actually most powerful when she embraces that change. So when she goes into the underworld, that's when she becomes the queen of the underworld. That's when she becomes ruling. And she has this unique ability to be a light maiden with flowers in her hair and flowers on her dress, and be sitting there in the dark ruling the underworld with a sense of sovereignty. So when we shine from the light of Persephone, we are in embracing change and transformation. We are creating something new and wonderful and beautiful. We're stepping into our springtime with flowers in our hair. Now, I would say she could be represented by Rapunzel from Tangled. You know, as her light aspect, Rapunzel is full of wonder. She's hopeful. She believes in true love. She believes in exploring. You know, the tower can be represented as a tower in Tarot, and her coming out of the tower is like that crash of the old and stepping in to the newness, the rebirth. And she had to trust this man that was actually a thief. She had to trust him that he loved her, and then later they ruled together. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Hades and Persephone. You know, Persephone married Hades. You know, she was kidnapped and brought down into the underworld, but she fell in love with Hades, and then she started ruling beside him as the queen of the underworld. She faced her own darkness and sat on that throne. And she found love in the process. So there we go. So I would love to hear, which of these goddesses do you feel are most connected to your light aspects? Which do you resonate with the most? And which do you feel you would love to activate more? Definitely comment down below. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you enjoyed this video. There's going to be a lot more. And definitely check out my Goddess Alchemy Masterclass, Awaken Your Dark and Light Feminine. If you enjoyed this video, you will absolutely love the masterclass. It is all about the deep dive into the dark feminine, the radiant ascent into the light feminine, and how doing this magnetizes the life we deserve, the life we've always wanted, the love we've always wanted, the career or business we've always wanted, prosperity, the home we've always wanted, soul alignment. Become magnetic by activating and integrating your dark and light feminine. So if that sounds like you, if you're ready to activate and awaken the goddess within and step into your power and sit on that throne, click on the link below. It's in the description, and I will see you on the other side. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is the Aligned Empress Coach signing out.